All right, time for the Fox 26 tropical discussion. We get a chance to kind of dive into things a little bit more and really talk about what's happening out there. You know, they only give us a couple minutes in a newscast. Here on Fox Local, we get to let it breathe a little bit more and talk about it. I'm meteorologist John Dawson, and today we've got a lot to talk about. It seems like we get to August, and all of a sudden things really start to get happening. And the main focus, I think, for at least the beginning of the discussion is going to be the fact that we have Tropical Storm Dexter out in the Atlantic. If you were tuning in at the end of last week and kind of through the weekend, you know we were watching an area that was sort of rolling along a stalled front there, a low pressure system. And once it finally kind of broke loose a little bit from that front, it could act a little bit more like a tropical system. And that's what we're looking at right now. Let me just tell you, these are the type of tropical systems that I like. I think that's what most of us like, because it's going to form here in the Atlantic and it's going to stay in the Atlantic. It's just going to do its thing out over open ocean waters, and that's what we like to see the tropical systems do. And it's really going to struggle. Dexter is not going to really blow up into a powerful hurricane. It's going to be struggling along with maximum sustained winds around 45 or 50 miles an hour. And then, you know, as it gets to the north, the more colder waters it starts to interact with, and tropical systems do not like that whatsoever. So there's that official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center, the 4 p.m. update here, and we'll notice again, currently the max winds are at 45 miles an hour, and maybe by the time we get to Friday, we'll be looking at 50-mile-an-hour winds, but it's just not looking to do a lot of big things. And majority of our computer model doing the same thing, taking it right out into the Atlantic. Of course, the National Hurricane Center taking all that into effect. So now watch what happens here. I'm not going to focus as much here with our exclusive Fox weather model on Dexter. You'll see Dexter goes off right like we expect it to. But what I want to take a look at is watch for a little spin here. We see our little arrows getting a little of that counterclockwise rotation. That's the possibility of maybe something else trying to form. Now, this is a long ways away, and this is not any certainty, but it's definitely something that the Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. So within this yellow shaded region, they're saying there's a 30% chance over a 7-day period. So really, even within the next 48 hours, nothing's expected. It's going to take a little bit longer. And that's also the case when we get out into the Atlantic. That's right, a third area that the Hurricane Center is monitoring. This orange shading here, again, several days from now, represents the possibility of a tropical system. There's a tropical wave that's just now getting off of the coast of Africa. It's going to move for a couple more days. Once it gets into the orange shaded here, Hurricane Center says about a 50% chance. I think this thing is looking likely that it could form at least a tropical storm or a tropical depression. It will be fighting that Saharan dust, though. Notice this forecast. It's going to have to kind of get into some of these lighter areas. If it gets too much into these darker shaded areas, that dust will prevent it from forming, especially getting any more organized. After this sort of darker shade, there's going to be another tropical wave that comes off of that African coast again. This is what happens in August, and that one might be something that's a little bit more worth watching. Now, historically speaking, we're doing about right as far as what we would expect to find, but in the last 10 years or so, we've really seen more activity by this point in the season. So it kind of feels a little bit like maybe it's been a slow season, but counting Dexter, we've had 4 systems so far. The other 3 have been short-lived, and Dexter, again, not necessarily short-lived, but it's not going to do anything as far as landmass go. But last year, there were a total of 11 hurricanes. Of course, we remember Beryl, number 1. That was early in the season. But the other 10 of those all came after July. So we're really expecting to get more organized and to see more activity. Overall, remember, we're expecting an above-average season. Both NOAA and Colorado State University getting those numbers above what we would normally find if we look at those 30-year averages across the area. And here's that busy season as we talked about. We get to August 1st and the numbers should start climbing, and that is what the indications are so far. If they're keeping track at home, we've finished now with the D storm. and it looks like Aaron will be the next name that we're looking for a little bit closer. So Dexter is on the board officially. Aaron is coming up next.